What's up, guys? Tonight we're keeping it simple. We're dropping into Fortnite and reading 3 of the creepiest Reddit stories I could find under the question, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen in your own home? These aren't monsters jumping out of closets. These are worse. Footsteps when no one's there. Something that looks like someone you love, but isn't. And a locked door that opens anyway. Let's get into it. This one starts simple. When this guy was a kid, both his parents worked early mornings. So before school, they'd drop him off at his grandmother's house. After she passed away his junior year, he started going straight home after school instead. And that's when something started happening. His mom began complaining that the receiver of the corded phone by her bed kept being left off the base. Every day she left for work, the phone was hung up properly. Every evening when she came home, the receiver was on the floor. She blamed him. He swore it wasn't him. Then one day, he got home early, and the second he walked through the front door, he heard 2 footsteps in his parents' bedroom. Clear, heavy, close. He dropped his backpack and ran down the short hallway. No one was there, but the phone receiver was on the floor. Not knocked over, not dangling. It was stretched to its absolute cord limit, placed in a way that couldn't have happened by accident. He tried to recreate it, shaking the table, bumping it, knocking it off. It would never land like that. The only way to get it into that exact position was to physically stretch the cord and gently set it there. Then the phone rang. Immediately, it was his dad. His dad said he had just called a few minutes earlier, and someone answered, but never spoke. He thought it was his son. The son had just walked through the door. No one passed him. Windows untouched. Nowhere to hide. After that day, the phone was never found off the base again. All right, that one is subtle. But this next one? This one involves something pretending to be someone. This happened in a college dorm room in Providence, Rhode Island. Standard dorm layout. 2 beds opposite each other. Desks at the foot of each bed. One day, the girl's boyfriend was laying on her bed. She bent down to grab something, and he screamed. Not startled, panicked. He said when she bent over, he saw a shadow behind her, and it looked like him. Same height, same outline. He had a big afro at the time, a very distinct silhouette. There was no one else in the room, no one in the hallway. They didn't tell anyone. A few weeks later, she wakes up in the middle of the night to her roommate frantically packing a bag. The roommate leaves without saying a word. The next morning, she explains why. She woke up in the night and saw the boyfriend sitting at the desk. She asked him why he was awake. He didn't respond. Then she turned her head and saw him asleep in bed next to his girlfriend at the same time. They had never told her about the shadow, but her description matched it perfectly. Something with his silhouette, watching, in the room, something wearing his shape. All right, last one. This one is the heaviest, because this didn't happen in a house. It happened in a locked radio station. Mid-1990s, small hometown radio station. Tiny building in the middle of a field. 1 road in, 1 road out. 2 doors, front door, back door. Locked from the inside and impossible to open from outside. The DJ worked the evening shift, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. He was always the last one in the building. He started noticing things. Shadows moving in the corner of his eye. Lights turning off and on. One night he clearly saw the shadow shape of a tall man near the front door. His boss told him everyone had seen Jimmy. Jimmy was the original owner of the station. He died, but supposedly still checked in. Jimmy was harmless. Flashed lights. Turned on faucets. Whispered names sometimes. But there was something else there. Something small. Shin height. Something that darted in the corner of his vision. That one gave him a bad feeling. One night it escalated. Lights flashing everywhere. A locked office printer turning on by itself. Ceiling tiles moving down the hallway. Then, the locked front door opened. A locked door opened. He closed it. Outside on the front step was a coffee cup and a cigar. No reason for them to be there. On his way back to the studio, he walked through a burst of cigar smoke, like someone invisible exhaled directly into his face. He grabbed his keys and ran. From his car, he looked back. There was a figure standing inside, silhouetted by the transmitter light. But that's not the part that stayed with him. He went home, got on his dial-up computer to type up what happened, and while connected, the modem speaker turned on. That doesn't happen. Not once the connection is made. Then a voice came through the static. Help me. Then silence. He says to this day he cannot explain it. He's skeptical about everything paranormal. But that night, he can't rationalize. And when he visits the station today, Jimmy is still around. But the smaller one, the malicious one, no one talks about that one. All right, that's 3. Footsteps in an empty apartment, a doppelganger in a dorm room, and something that opened a locked door. Let me know in the comments which one got you. And if you've ever experienced something you couldn't explain. We post scary stories every week. So if you're into late-night Reddit horror while we game, subscribe. And I'll see you on the next drop.